Stop measuring the wrong thing. Right now, the single most common TV buying mistake in America has nothing to do with the brand, the panel technology, or the operating system. It is the size. Specifically, the size relative to the room it is going into and the distance you are going to sit from it. And the TV industry makes this mistake easy to make, because manufacturers deliberately strip out the best hardware from the smaller size categories to protect their margins on larger models. You can buy the same model number in 2 different sizes and receive 2 fundamentally different televisions. Today we are covering 4 size and design choices, from the one that the industry has essentially turned into a trap, all the way to the one that solves both the size problem and the design problem in a single architectural decision. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what size your room needs and exactly why getting it wrong costs you more than money. If you have ever set up a new TV and felt vaguely underwhelmed without being able to explain why, subscribe. The answer is almost always size and positioning, starting with the size to avoid, 43-inch and 50-inch televisions. And before you defend them, hear the argument out. The problem is not the size itself. The problem is what happens to the hardware inside a television at those sizes. TV manufacturers use smaller screen formats to protect the profitability of their larger models. The engineering decision that results from that protection is the systematic removal of premium components from the sub-55-inch tier. In practice, this means that a 43-inch version of a television that carries a 120 Hz panel at 65 inches is very likely to carry a 60 Hz panel at 43 inches. The same model name, the same box design, a fundamentally different piece of hardware inside. Industry testing confirms this pattern consistently. Sub-55-inch models are routinely stripped of full-array local dimming, the higher refresh rate panels, and the more advanced processing chips. The result is that a buyer who purchases a 43-inch TV at a price that feels reasonable is often receiving the performance of a television from 2 or 3 years ago, dressed in current year packaging. The furniture problem makes this worse. The most common reason people buy in this size range is that the television needs to fit inside an existing entertainment center, on a specific shelf, or within a wall unit that was built for older, smaller screens. The furniture is constraining the purchase, and the purchase is being constrained into the tier that manufacturers have deliberately weakened. Patrick bought a 50-inch for exactly this reason. His living room had a built-in shelving unit with a specific opening, and the 50-inch was the largest that would fit. He connected his PS5 Pro and immediately noticed that the gaming performance felt significantly worse than his old gaming monitor. He researched afterward and confirmed the 50-inch variant of the model he bought was running a 60 Hz panel. The 65-inch version of the same model ran 120 Hz. Same price, different television. The shelving unit cost him the hardware. If the television needs to fit a specific furniture constraint, and that constraint puts you in the sub-55-inch tier, the correct answer is to reconsider the furniture, not the television. Subscribe if this just explained a purchase decision you have been stuck on. Now the sizes that actually deliver. TV number 2 is the Samsung S95F in 65 inches, and 65 is the number that the American living room has been converging on for the better part of a decade. Not because 65 became trendy, because the mathematics work. The standard American living room has a viewing distance of roughly 8 to 12 feet from couch to wall. At 65 inches, a 4K panel at that distance fills the viewer's field of vision in a way that feels cinematic, without overwhelming the geometry of the room. It is large enough to create genuine immersion. It is not so large that it dominates the wall and makes the space feel like a showroom floor. The S95F brings a specific hardware advantage to that 65-inch footprint that makes it the right choice for a specific type of room. Its matte, anti-reflective coating absorbs direct sunlight rather than reflecting it back at the viewer. For a living room with large windows, a south-facing wall, or afternoon sun that comes in at an angle that hits the screen directly, the S95F eliminates the problem that makes standard OLED panels unwatchable in those conditions. Rtings testing confirmed the glare-free surface performance. In a sun-drenched space at 65 inches, it is the combination that the room requires. The Truva Atud is the polarizer absence, and it is a real and specific trade-off. The engineering that makes the matte coating so effective against direct sun also means the panel has no polarizer layer. Under ambient room lighting, the kind produced by a reading lamp, a hallway light left on, or any indirect light source, the deep OLED blacks shift to a visible purple and magenta tone. A viewer on a home theatre forum described buying the S95F specifically for their sun-filled apartment and reporting that daytime football was the best viewing experience they had ever had. Then they watched a dark thriller that evening with a single table lamp on and wrote that the shadows had turned into a neon nightclub. That is the precise and documented trade-off. Daytime and controlled lighting are this television's domain. Ambient lit evening viewing is where it shows its limitation. TV number 3 is the TCL QM8K in 98 inches, and this size exists in a category that operates on completely different psychological and physical principles than everything else on this list. At 98 inches, the screen is not furniture, it is architecture. It replaces the wall, it makes the room. The economics of getting to this size have collapsed dramatically in the past 2 years, and the TCL QM8K represents the point where the price barrier dropped low enough that the decision becomes rational for a specific type of buyer and a specific type of room. A deep room, meaning a space where the primary seating is 12 feet or more from the wall, is the environment where 98 inches stops being excessive and starts being correct. At that distance, a 65-inch panel does not fill the viewer's field of vision adequately. The cinematic effect is absent. The screen is a rectangle in a room rather than an experience. 98 inches at 12 to 15 feet of viewing distance produces the field of vision fill that makes content feel genuinely immersive. The mini LED brightness on the QM8K also means this immersion is available in rooms that are not completely dark. The panel overpowers ambient light in a way that allows the size advantage to function in real-world conditions rather than only in a blackout room. The true Vata is the viewing geometry that this size creates. The VA panel inside the QM8K delivers its full color and contrast performance within a relatively narrow cone directly in front of the screen. At 98 inches, the physical width of the television means that viewers seated at the edges of a wide sofa arrangement may be further off axis than they would be with a smaller panel. Colors wash out, contrast flattens. The person at the far end of the sofa is watching a different, lesser version of what the center viewer sees. For a room where the seating is arranged in a long line directly facing the screen, this limitation is invisible. For a wide, dispersed seating arrangement, it is a real and persistent problem. And now, the one that resolves both the size question and the design question at the same time. The LG G6 OLED in 77 inches. And the specific reason this television belongs at the top of this list is not the panel technology, it is the gallery design. LG engineered the G6 to mount completely flush against the wall with zero gap between the back of the television and the surface it is attached to. No standoff, no bracket depth, no visible cable management nightmare. The television becomes the wall. It does not sit in front of the wall. It does not protrude from the wall. It occupies the wall the way a window occupies a wall, as a surface that belongs to the architecture rather than an object placed against it. In a room where design matters, this is not a minor feature. It is the difference between a living room that has a television in it and a living room where the television is part of the room. A 77-inch panel installed flush to the wall at the correct height reads as an architectural element. When it is off, it is a dark surface that recedes. When it is on, it is a window into whatever is playing. The room does not announce that it contains a large screen. The screen announces what is on it. The picture quality that lives inside this design is the highest benchmark available in 2026. Infinite contrast from OLED self-illuminating pixels. Highlights that reach brightness levels that previous OLED generations could not sustain. Color accuracy that comes factory calibrated to a standard that competing panels require professional intervention to approach. The 77-inch size at the recommended viewing distance of 9 to 11 feet produces the field of vision coverage that creates genuine cinematic immersion without the off-axis compromise that limits the 98-inch VA panel. The Truva AT is the anti-reflective lens coating on the G6 panel, which produces a faint green and pink color shift in bright white content when viewed from a very sharp off-axis angle. Not a slight lean, a significant lateral move well to the side of the screen. AVForums confirmed this through spectrophotometer testing. From any normal central seating position, this artifact is invisible. It only appears at angles that real viewers do not occupy during normal television watching. For most rooms and most seating configurations, it is a non-issue. Know it exists before you buy. Subscribe and stay close, because next week we are going deeper into the brand side of this equation. 4 TV brands that are charging you for logos and delivering hardware that does not justify the premium. And 4 brands that are delivering genuine value at prices that make the premium brands look like a bad investment. If you are planning any TV purchase before watching that video, you are missing the information that will either save you from a bad brand or confirm a good one. We will see you there.